What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kinda Funnies in Review. I am Tim Gettys. This is Andy Cortez. That is Kevin Coelho. And over there, we got Nick Scarpino.
I appreciate how the intro just ends, man. Like it ends hard.
Well, that's how
that
the game goes.
I assumed as much.
Yeah.
I assumed as much. I've never played a Pokemon
that is
game.
the Pokemon cry
before
of
in my life.
Pikachu.
It's all about the game and how you play it.
It's
true.
Triple H. Oh, man. I love this never ends, Andy. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is in review each and every Tuesday at 11 a.m. right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We get together and rank and review movies. Usually we do entire franchises. We've done the MCU. We've done X-Men. We've done Spider-Man. We've done Fast and Furious. We've done Mission Impossible. Upcoming, we got Aladdin. We got Toy Story. We got Lion King. There's a lot of goodness coming. But we had 1 week. There was just this little hole. And I wanted to fill that hole with a little electric
with a little
rat.
furry rat.
Yeah.
A yellow furry rat. Mm-hmm. Just get it in there. How do you get it in there? Who knows? Maybe
Who
there's
knows? I feel like
some
Nick,
sort of
you might have
plastic clear tube that people used in the 80s.
God.
That
all I'm thinking of is the scene in Fast and Furious 2 where they put the rat in that bowl and they had the guy like, I was gonna burrow through your stomach. Like, what a weird.
He's probably not.
They also
Weird
did that in Game
villain.
of Thrones, remember?
I don't remember that. Wow.
Really?
They have rats in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, they did it with the
Electric
bucket, and the dude was like, "Where's the Brotherhood?" And the guy was like, "I don't know."
Was that
Not as iconic as Too Fast.
No.
That's true. Obviously. You can get the show live on Twitch, or you can get it later as a VOD. That's a video on demand on youtube.com/kindafunny or roosterteeth.com. Or if you want to listen to it, just search for Kinda Funny Reviews on podcast services. That will include the feed with our Game of Thrones review show, the finale next week, the end of it all.
Thank God.
Finally.
Finale.
Thank God.
And then all of the continuing franchises that we're going to do going forward. Rest assured, we will do all the MCU movies. We'll do all the Fast and Furious movies. We'll do all the X-Men movies that are going to be coming out this year and beyond. But today we're talking about Detective Pikachu. We will not be ranking it or reviewing. Well, I guess we're reviewing it, but we're not ranking it against any of the other Pokemon movies because that would be ridiculous.
There's too many.
There's too many of them, and most of them are not great, and
many are
some of
there?
them are okay.
How many are there?
23.
Oh my God.
I think.
I would have guessed maybe 8.
Yeah, I would have too.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like, are there a lot of them? Is like
Only
Land
three-
Before Time? A lot
Only
of them?
3 had a
Theatrical
American
release.
theatrical release. All of them had a Japanese theatrical release.
Got it.
2 of them, the most recent ones, did get a release in American theaters, but it was that limited time.
release.
Like, what is it called?
It's like Dragon Ball
Fandango?
Super.
Fathom.
Fathom events.
Fathom events,
Fathom
yeah.
events.
Where they show the plays where you can watch plays of
Exactly.
movies.
I've always wanted to go in one of those.
Did you really?
Well, you see, there was one that I wanted to go to, and I'll tell you which one it was real quick, non sequitur. They did one where it was like professional drum and bugle corps. So it was like all the ones that I used to watch when I was like in marching band. They do those events, and you could go to a theater and watch those. I would actually pay to see that.
So
I
'Cause
remember.
I'm not driving out to Concord to see that
I
shit.
remember seeing the trailer
Yeah.
for that with you, and you're like, "Oh,
I was like, that's really
might do
cool.
that.
Like I literally was like, and make a mental note. Don't forget this, and then
You
2.5
forgot.
hours after later, I was like,
so
I totally
you
forgot
drove?
it. Of course
You wouldn't drive to
forgot.
Concord? That's like
no.
Fuck no.
like an hour away.
You ever
like
been to
with
Concord?
traffic.
Have you?
It's like the Sunnyvale of, I don't know. I was trying to think of the worst place in Concord.
What news you got for
So
us?
including the alternate continuity movies, like the I Choose You recent movie and the Power of Us, and including Detective Pikachu, there are 22 fucking Pokemon
That
movies.
includes Pikachu. There's 22.
Yep.
I was
Just like the MCU.
Exactly.
I was off.
Correct.
Yeah, just like the
There's
MCU.
an upcoming one called Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution,
I don't like
which I
how
think
far
is
you
a
are.
remake
That's the
of
3D remake.
of the original one.
which
Andy,
is coming out next month.
Which Pokemon movies did you watch?
I just really only remember that one, the one where
first one?
Ash dies, and
Yeah.
the Pokemon movie. Yeah,
Mewtwo Strikes Back?
Spoilers,
it's the only
dude.
one I
I
remember.
didn't realize there were that many Pokemon movies.
What was the first Pokemon movie about?
That's what
Mewtwo.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
Mewtwo one?
Pokemon, the first movie was Mewtwo Strikes Back.
What are some other ones? Give me
Is
some
that
other
the one
ones.
they
the
reference
second
in
one?
this?
the movie
Yes.
2000.
The second one was Pokemon 2000.
Oh, I did see 2000
which was
with
Lugia and
with
the Legendary Birds.
with the fucking
Yeah.
with the
Zapdos,
Entei.
Vultures.
Which one was Entei?
No, that was 3.
Oh, so I
Yeah.
saw 3 of them then.
Okay, yeah. So that's the thing is, most people saw 3.
Got it.
Because
Yeah.
that was when it was like those are theatrical and like
Yeah.
3 was everybody everyone watched Kanto the first
Yeah.
couple seasons, the Indigo League and all that. But like Johto, People wanted to say they didn't watch because they were too old for it. Bullshit. We all fucking watched it. We know
Yeah,
it.
I watched that
I
shit.
mean, maybe I don't know.
You did.
I feel
She
like
might as well be speaking a different language to me right now.
I feel like
Yeah.
it was on during a holiday
It might be
break
different
on
language now.
Cartoon
Japanese,
Network
actually.
or something,
That sounds
or
right.
WB.
No, actually, if I remember correctly,
WGN.
there was a big deal on Cartoon Network that it was like the debut of it in homes.
Oh wow,
Oh yeah.
And it was like a big event for 3.
like a Fathom event, Nick.
Damn.
You ever been to one of those?
I always wanted to go to one of those. Andy. In fact, I earmarked one time for Drama Video Course. We're just talking in circles now.
I love it. You gotta love it.
So wait, is this the actual first really big, like wide theatrical released Pokemon movie?
I feel like he just answered.
No, that was like serious because I do not remember there being like.
there's 3. There was 3 theatrical released ones.
Were
before.
they big deals though?
Yeah,
when
they
came
were, but
out?
they were big
First
deals
one
to
absolutely
kids.
was.
Oh, I mean, all 3 of them were.
Well, they were
But-
cartoons.
Because I don't
They did
remember
a
ever
cartoon
seeing
show.
like there being a mass market product like this.
Nick.
This to me is the biggest marketed mainstream Pokemon movie.
Let me tell you what it was. If you were a kid and you were cool, you went to fucking McDonald's and you got those fucking gold
was Burger
cards.
King.
Yeah.
Burger King. You got the gold plated cards and you weren't cool unless you had one, dude.
They were gold plate.
I feel
right?
like you're
They were
not
gold
answering
plates.
my
Those are-
question.
Like, no, that's what I'm telling you in
started by
terms of
answering
marketing,
yes.
in terms of a big deal. Like,
Right, but
this
I
was
just-
this was like the Power Rangers movie release. Like, yeah, like,
it's the exact same thing as compare Power Rangers 95 movie to the Power Rangers 2017 movie, right?
So it's just so crazy to me because like normally, if you were to say, if you just even a movie I haven't seen, I'll have at least some knowledge of it noodling around in this old ass brain. But I cannot place a trailer or any sort of marketing material for a Pokemon movie in like my lifetime.
But I think that's just because you wouldn't have seen the trailers for the movies that you were watching necessarily.
Sure.
Because there is a difference between the Power Rangers 95 movie and the Power Rangers recent one.
Well,
'cause-
the recent one was an actual legitimate film.
and Detective Pikachu, I would say, is the equivalent.
Right, that's what I'm.
to
So that's what I'm
that.
asking. Right. So like this to me was we all went to the theater, saw the new Power Rangers, and it was actually almost a great, almost a decent movie.
Yeah.
But it was a movie as opposed to the Power Rangers movies that have come out before that are literally like made for TV movies.
But the I feel like the first Power Ranger movie was still a movie, which is it was for little kids.
Yeah.
In the same way, like
With Ivan Ooze?
I'm talking about budget wise, right? So like this had a budget in the tens of millions of dollars.
But at
whereas
the
like
time-
what are the other Pokemon movies even come
I don't
close to
know.
that?
But it definitely, I mean, let me say this. The Pokemon movie had a much higher budget than the Pokemon TV show. Like the animation was way higher quality. And
so good.
there was like investment in the soundtrack and investment in a lot of elements of it.
I think that was
Leonardo
a real
DiCaprio
movie.
played Ash.
It was just an
Crazy.
animated movie.
Oh, it was directed by James Cameron. He was trying to go for that Titanic money.
Like in the same way that like The Simpsons had a movie. Like,
Yeah.
and that,
Yeah, I
and that
guess
was
we're,
an
I guess we're
actual
splitting
release.
hairs because I mean
Yeah.
it is. That's true. I mean, I guess it just boils down for me for budget, and if
There
it
is
came
a
out
difference,
theaters, it
though.
came out theaters. That's a movie.
There is a difference. It came out in theaters, but this is the first time that they're treating it like a Hollywood movie.
Well, this seems like the first time they're really giving it a big like go, where they're like, we're gonna make something big out of this. This is gonna be a mega franchise. Whereas before, it just seemed like a lot of the stuff that came out was absolutely catering to that fan base. Whereas this is the first time I remember seeing something in Pokemon and going, hey, this appeals to like they're clearly going for a more mainstream audience with this. They're trying to get people in who maybe don't necessarily know Pokemon. But with Ryan Reynolds, absolutely, you got me on board.
Yeah. So this is Detective Pikachu, released on May 10th, 2019, directed by Rob Letterman. You might know him from hits like Shark Tale,
Hell yeah,
Will Smith.
dude.
Monsters vs. Aliens, Gulliver's Travels, the
new one?
2010
They
Gulliver's
made so
Travels.
many of those.
Did
there was
they?
one with Ted Danson.
Isn't there just two? The old
Gulliver's
one and the new
Travels?
one?
No, they've had a lot of TV movies.
The
and
Jack
stuff.
Black one is this one. Though.
Yeah.
And Goosebumps, most recently.
Also Jack Black.
Oh God, I
Seeing
just
a trend
watched
here.
Goosebumps too.
But you liked Goosebumps 1. He had nothing to do with 2.
No,
Don't-
good.
whoa,
As
whoa!
far as
Watch
I
what you're
know.
about to fucking say, because Cougar might be listening.
First
and
off,
he'll fucking
Goosebumps
murder
2
you.
is a terrible movie.
Whoa!
Terrible movie.
First off.
Okay, you better hope.
Second
Cougar
off,
never
Goosebumps
sees
in
this.
review, guys.
Goosebumps 1, passable. It's a serviceable film. But Goosebumps 2, they literally have Jack Black in it just to have Jack Black in it. His character does nothing. He's only in it for about 5
He's
minutes.
R.L. Stein.
Yeah, you would think they would have integrated him
Yeah,
more
you
into
would
the vast
Ricardo
sweeping
Leonardo
narrative.
Stein.
Doesn't matter. Ricardo Leonardo Stein.
I hope that's
Is that
it.
where we were at?
Ricardo Leonardo. Especially, have you seen R.L. Stein? Like, do you remember how he looks? Like, he used to intro the episodes.
He looked like he
Steve
fucking,
Jobs, kind of.
He looked like he like was a librarian.
Yeah,
or owned a library.
Steve Jobs, but he goes by Ricardo Leonardo.
That's an awesome name. I would go by that.
This had a budget of $150 million because there was 150 Pokemon.
Oh shit!
$150 million. A box
151.
office.
This had a $150 million budget.
Yeah.
150 million.
Fuck, where did that money go?
Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, you're crazy. It looked good. You're crazy.
No, I mean like
It looks stylized. I'm
We're-
with Nick where it's like there were a lot of shots where I was like, whoa, that looks rough.
but we're at
Nah,
a place
I
where
disagree.
like I'm used to effects looking perfect now. Like we just watched Endgame, and there's not that. There's like maybe one or two scenes where effects kind of stand out, where you're like that could have been a little bit better. But there are moments in this where I'm like that. Literally, that animation's missing frames. Like I don't understand. Like when Pikachu jumps down in certain instances, you're like that looked like clip art. It's bad.
I really disagree with that.
totally
I
disagree.
feel like the animation was great. You might not like the look of how they look in the world, but to me, I liked how it felt stylized. It reminded me of Speed Racer, where it was kind of a cartoon come to life, where this wasn't so much Pokemon in our world. It was like, oh, hey, they're in their real world, and we're just like kind of watching them do things.
We're flies on the wall.
We're just flies on the damn wall.
I think I think the world was
gnats on the wall.
was realized maybe about 80% of where I needed it to be. It's not to say it was bad. It didn't really take me out of it. It's just there were moments where I'm like, if this had maybe another $50 million budget to it, they could have really sold the stuff and really realized this world. I don't think I needed it. I don't think it would have been like, I don't think that's what it would have taken to take it up to 100% for me. But I just feel like there's some of it that made it look a little cheap. And I think that was the biggest problem with this was like you walked out of the theater saying like it was just a touch above a Disney Original Channel movie.
You keep quoting me saying I said that. I didn't say that. I was saying that plot-wise, it reminded me of Disney Channel original movie. I
did
don't
say
think this
that.
was a made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, I agree with Nick in the sense that like there were a couple shots. There's one that I remember specifically where it was in the intro of the movie. There was like a shot of a bunch of Pokemon kind of running in a row. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And like it very much looked like it was just a layer, like layered on top. Not like it didn't look like it was in the world. And there were a couple moments like that. They had a bunch of great moments where we were seeing like the city and everyone's walking around with their Pokemons, and I feel like that's where the budget went because those shots looked really good. But when you have the other shots that kind of stand out, it does take you out a little bit, I think.
A budget of 150 million, a box office so far of 170.4 million. That's as of May 12th. It's the first movie based on a video game to have a fresh score on Rotten Tomatoes. A runtime of 1 hour and 44 minutes.
What's the second highest? Silent Hill.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't have these type of
Probably
facts.
Tomb
But
Raider.
it's the only one that has a fresh score, so like that's the only one that's like, isn't that people recommend to go watch?
A fresh score means that 60% of critics recommend
To
the
go
movie.
watch it, yeah.
Not that it's a 10 out of 10
But
or anything,
like-
but like
but
they
like-
say it's worth
This is
watching.
the first time a video game movie where more than half of the people reviewing it are like, "Oh, you should watch that."
Yeah.
That's really.
Did no one watch Dead or
Crazy.
Alive? Did no one
No.
watch House of the Dead? Did no one watch?
I watched I watched the reboot of Tomb Raider. I thought that wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but I would recommend people watch it if they had
It
nothing
was
better to
very
see.
similar to the reboot game.
but not
was-
as good.
No,
That's the problem.
No, yeah, not as
the
good.
reboot game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The Alicia
Tomb Raider.
the
Oh,
Canberra
I think you meant the
Tomb
reboot
Raider.
franchise.
No, they literally
Oh,
like made
like,
they when they
in
went
the
into
computer?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Got it.
Oh my god! Imagine they just were like, "Fuck it, we're doing a reboot movie."
I mean, I thought they were, weren't they?
I mean,
There
wasn't it
were
a
rumors.
Netflix show? Like they were
Could have
gonna
sworn
do?
reboot
There
was
were
going to be a
rumors
thing.
that or did it already happen?
It might- that sounds like the type of thing that
God.
could have just came
It
up
happened
against
in
the wall.
2016. Like,
You know?
it's one of those things.
Oh man! Before we get into the plot here, I just want to read a couple Easter eggs. I don't got any fun little Facts of the Furious situation going
Got
on.
it.
These are just Pokemon things you might want to know.
Like Pokedex facts or something.
The fine.
Pokefax.
The realistic style of the Pokemon were based on the artwork by R.J. Palmer. The movie's production designer discovered him while he was looking for realistic Pokemon designs on the internet, and he was so impressed by Palmer's artwork that he gave him a job as the concept artist for the movie.
That's cool.
Do you remember this? Like,
Yeah.
the thing that went viral a couple years ago?
I mean, like the RJ Palmer. I don't remember him by name, but I just know that like all of his artwork was something that everybody in art school would look at nonstop because it was like.
Is he that good?
The way he brought them to life, it was basically like it wasn't in this sort of vein. It was more of a
More realistic and scary looking.
kind of colorize like an alligator to make it look like Totodile, or like he would do really cool shit to how would these
But it was
actual
kinda
Pokemon
gross looking,
exist?
right?
I mean, they were kind of horrifying at
Yeah.
times. Yeah,
This
like
movie, you can kind of see that coming through.
No,
with some
I
of
think
them.
they did a good job with the exception
no,
of
with,
Gengar.
with here they still kept
Everyone
the
looked pretty
proportions
cool.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But in his art, it was very much like a fucking little freaky pink rat, and it was Mewtwo or whatever,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Mew. You know, like yeah, he did. He was awesome. He was really cool.
Reboot, The Guardian Code came out on Netflix in 2018. It has a 3.8 out of 10
Yeah,
review.
close, not bad.
I'm going to read you, Andy, the quick synopsis. On their
here.
first day of high school, Austin Parker, Tamara, and Trey discover
Parker.
they've been pre-selected to become the next generation guardians of cyberspace, tasked with a mission to save the world by defending it in cyberspace.
Fuck.
They
lot of
had the
cyberspace
balls
in
to
that.
drop cyberspace twice.
Yeah. Just so you know,
Did they
this
have the
movie,
balls to, or did the dude just not give a fuck?
No, what happened was someone wrote that synopsis and then nobody bothered to read it back. They were just like, it's
We
probably
need a
fine.
synopsis.
It's like when people ask me for a bio, I just copy and paste. I don't know if there's spelling mistakes in there. Who cares?
The voiceover for large crowd chants were recorded during the Pokemon World Championships 2018
That's cool.
in Nashville that they used in the movie. The trailer music, when they had Happy Together by the Turtles, that was because they originally used it in the 1998
Brothers?
commercial for Super Smash Brothers that featured Pikachu.
Oh, that's cool.
You don't remember that, Barrett? How old are you?
What year was that?
98?
Fuck, I was 3 years old, man. I don't remember.
Wow.
Good
Wow.
God.
And out of all the Pokemon shown in the movie, only Pikachu is voiced by the original anime's voice actress, Iku Otani. And you can tell.
Yeah.
Doesn't have too many Pikachus in it. There's a
Not
handful
enough.
of them.
Well, at
Handful
the
of
end, we get it, right?
Yeah.
We get.
And we get it in the big middle where
The Flash.
oh,
is
you're
that-
so cute.
Is that Pika?
Yeah. So it's time for the plot. It's time for the plot.
Yeah, let's do
It starts off with we get the Warner Brothers kind of thing going. We get the little legendary pictures, and then boom, there we fucking get it. We see the world. We see the Earth, and it spins
Whoa,
around.
hold on. We also got the Pokemon Company, and that was really cool.
We see the Earth, Kevin, and it turns around, turns
hasn't
to a
gotten there yet.
Pokeball.
Oh, does it?
Boom,
Is
the
that how it went
Pokemon
down?
Company.
My bad.
And the theater fucking gasps. I've seen this movie twice now, and the first time it was opening Thursday, 7 p.m. Like it was a bunch of adults watching Pokemon. The second time I watched it was on a Sunday. That theater was packed with kids, and the fucking hype was palpable.
awesome.
But both times, I feel like the Pokemon Company logo got one of the biggest reactions out of everyone, which is hilarious.
It makes it feel real.
It makes it like,
Yeah.
oh, it's real, dude.
It's very cool.
Is that an actual production company that's making these, or was that just like fan?
That's just the Pokemon Company's, like,
Like the
Logo.
owners of the IP. So like it's their.
so it's a real life company. It's
Yeah.
not like okay. That's
Yeah,
why,
yeah,
that's why I assumed. I just didn't know if
But
it was
they're-
like something they just threw in the credits for the fans.
no, that'd be like just having the Nintendo logo
Okay,
pop
got
up.
it, got
Yeah. So the movie starts. We see a little lab. It's just chilling there. You know some shady shit's going on there. But what type of shady shit? It's the Mewtwo research facility. Mewtwo pops out of this thing, and immediately I'm like, wow. We're getting to this shit fast,
Yeah,
ladies
starting
and
real.
gentlemen. We're seeing a real jacked sexual Mewtwo in a way that I've never imagined before.
beautiful.
sexual about him?
Blimey.
That
He's
big
beautiful.
fucking dick tail, dude.
Oh,
What?
God.
Who was the scientist that? I don't think we see her in this, but it was.
We see her
We'll
later.
see you later.
Dr. Anna Lauron
She was
or
played
some
by
shit.
an
Rita
act-
Ora.
That's Rita Ora, that's
As
right. That's
featured
right.
in Fast and
Fast and
Furious
God.
6. It's London, baby.
That's a Landon baby.
Yeah. She also does the
for
theme
her.
song for this movie.
Does she?
That it plays during the credits, and it's like, all right, cool. It has nothing to do with Pokemon. It's really fucking
Mewtwo's
weird.
got that big chest
Just like
bone.
"Don't Say You Love Me," the theme song to Pokemon the first movie by M2M.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
That's one of those things where if Joey's listening, she's about to bust in here.
M2M. Wow.
Anyways, Mewtwo busted out of this thing, flying. It seems like he causes a car crash. All right. We know that trouble is afoot already. Then, hard cut.
Well, we also see him do a thing.
Yeah.
See him throw a
yeah, we do a
thing.
little side
Yeah,
blast or
yeah,
whatever the fuck it
yeah.
is. So yeah, implied he caused the car crash. Then it cuts. We get a very countryside looking town
Rural.
going on, very rural,
Old Town
very
Road.
pallet town, very old town road. Thank you, Andy. This is in fact Leavin Town, which is the name of it. It's a town that we haven't heard before in any of the Pokemon lore, but you know our main protagonist Tim. He's leaving town.
I just feel like there's a
Let's go
lot
to
of
Rhyme
really
City. It's
cool
perfect.
NPCs there. Like very nice NPCs that'll invite you in and let you
The
play
real
on their
basic stuff.
They'll let
These
you
are the
play on their
boring ones that are
GameCube.
like, sorry, I'm busy right
They'll
now.
cook you food, you know.
Yeah. I was like, hey, you should go see the professor.
Yeah.
And if you talk to him again, he's like, "Hey, you should go see the professor."
You have no problem that I've just busted into your house. It's very,
it's
very
really
It's like
bizarre.
you go and use rob.
There's only
Okay.
two houses. It's
Same
you and your
all of them.
rival. And you're like, where's everyone else live? Like, where's that fat guy live? Anyway, this is Leaving Town. This is our first real shot where we see like kind of just Pokemon in a world, and it is very reminiscent of the early episodes of Pokemon where you see Pallet Town, you see like kind of like more farms and stuff. A lot of the reminiscent things of Pokemon games of the routes, like Route 1, Route 11, whatever the fuck. You see some Pidgeys.
This is
You
where the
see
happy
some-
tears first started
This is
popping
where
in
it's like,
for me.
oh shit.
Where I was just like, I mean, I wasn't bawling or anything, but I'm like, oh my God, this is a real thing right now. Like, we're watching there was some Pidgeotto as well, I believe.
No Pidgeotos.
Oh, okay,
Pidgeot.
only Pidgeot,
Pidgey
got
and
it.
Pidgeot. Oh, it's disappointing because Pidgeotto has the dopest hair. He
Yeah.
has the fucking rebellion. like-
Pidgeotto! That's all I remember.
Yeah, it's good. And then we also see some Tauros. We see some Doduo, little Dodrio in there too.
Just running around.
Hot bopping
Just running
around. Real cool stuff.
Yeah.
Then we meet Tim, the main character of the movie, played by Justice Smith. You might remember him from Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most recent one. I didn't even
Yeah,
watch
he's
it.
the kid that
Fallen
screams,
I haven't even
right?
seen
He
Fallen
is the
Kingdom.
kid that
It was
screams.
it's on HBO, so you could watch it.
I mean, cool.
And it's not good.
Yeah.
And then we also meet his friend Jack, who's played by Karan Soni. You might remember him as being Dopinder
Yeah.
from Deadpool.
Yeah, love
which
it.
is the reunion of Ryan Reynolds.
Do you think that
and
was
him.
like just a recommendation
Yeah.
from Ryan
I
Reynolds?
think that it
100%.
was.
100%
actually.
Ryan Reynolds.
That's
Like, you
so
should cast
cool.
this guy. He's really
He's
good.
man, Ryan Reynolds is great. He's a cool
really
guy.
That's why I want to be his
is,
friend.
man.
So
We're
I hope he has a
guessing right now.
sidekick.
Over that. Like, don't fucking do it.
He might be a monster.
So his friend Jack tries to get him to catch a Cubone, and you can tell he's trying to trick him into it. We get some dialogue things here that are essentially, what's up?
The dialogue here.
It essentially implies that, hey, Tim, you don't have a partner Pokemon. Why is that? Like, why are you hiding from this? Like, it's time. You should do this. And that Jack is about to leave the town to start his Pokemon journey. Interesting because usually in the games and stuff, it's like you're a 10-year-old. And later they make a reference to Tim being when his mom dies. And he's like, this is going to be the most important day of my life, implying that that's going to be the day he gets his partner. So maybe in this world, it kind of we're setting up that you get your partner when you're 10, but you don't leave until you're
I mean, that makes like an actual.
It makes a
adult-
lot
that
more
makes
sense.
a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But right away, I feel like this establishes the tone of the movie, where I feel like the movie could have gone a million different wrong ways, but it went down a way that like there was a lot of comedic lines in there, and it made immediately I was like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy this movie because already the vibe that they have back and forth, the dialogue, some of it cheesy, but still like their acting immediately made me feel like, oh, this is like a real Hollywood movie.
I agree that this did set the tone. I feel like it set the tone of like they're taking Pokemon seriously, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
Like this lore stuff matters to them. But it also set the tone of like, ooh, this is a lot kiddier than I expected this to be based on the trailers. And at least that was consistent throughout it. It's like, of course, I'm let down by that because I'm a fucking 30-year-old man that wants his little electric rat to be dark and gritty. But it is what it is.
Well, I don't know. I mean, one of the things we talked about on Screencast was we talked about how this movie is very much for kids, but unlike a Pixar movie where Pixar somehow makes movies for kids, but also like has a lot of depth that adults really, really enjoy. Like this movie was not shooting for that. Like I watched this, and again, we'll get to the end. We'll talk about it. I was entertained, but it wasn't. It was very surface level. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely is surface level, but I feel like it is. There's so much nostalgia
There's
that they
so much
nailed.
good
And it's not
nostalgia,
just
yeah.
like references to things. It's like it builds this world that we are all at least familiar with so much, like things like the Cubone. We see the Cubone, he's there, he's crying. We already know what the fuck is up. But they reference it and they're just like, he's wearing the skull of a dead relative, which is a direct reference to the anime and to the games where that thing's literally wearing the skull of its dead mother. And he's sad.
That's what they
lonely.
do.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying. But anyways, he tries to get him to catch his Cubone. He's like, fine, fuck it, I'll try it. Then we see the Pokemon.
Oh
for
my
the first
god,
time.
this was the moment for me where I was like, I didn't realize how badly I wanted this to be like in a movie and like to see this happen.
And I just held back I held back going, yeah, because it was just so cool seeing like a
was
real
so cool.
Pokeball.
So he throws it at the Cubone. The rules, I feel, are a bit more Pokemon Go than they are Pokemon core franchise, where you don't need to battle it, you just fucking throw the thing.
I mean, it's nothing to battle it with.
That's true.
Also, yeah, it's like a level 2. You know what I mean? He's fine.
Yeah.
So he throws the ball. it hits the Cubone and it does the perfect, like pulling him in. I'm like, this is so cool.
good.
You see the ball fall and it kind of does the little shaky shake, and I'm like, this is great. But this is one of the first times in the movie that I feel like the editing was like
Bad.
poor choices were made.
Yeah.
They cut away from the ball shaking so quickly, where it's like just sit on
give
that for a
give
second.
us a couple shakes. Like, give us the like 2, hold it for a second, and then give us that third one that lets us know that it's not gonna.
Yeah, that was weird, and it happens later when we see.
Is it after 2 it jumps out?
It's random, but
is it?
This happens later when we see Eevee evolve into Flareon.
Where they cut away and it's like
Eevee's on cameras for such a short period of time that you wouldn't even realize what it is if you didn't know. Like, they didn't do a good job of showing it evolve. You just see kind of blue shit, and then it's Flareon. Anyways, a random little fact here. When actors were auditioning for the role of the best friend character in Detective Pikachu, the script wasn't allowed to give away that it was a Pokemon movie. The Cubone scene became throwing baseballs at a dog.
how's that a nice moment?
I don't fucking know.
Like, I feel like actors would have played that much differently if
Yeah.
it was like, all right, I guess I'm trying to convince my friend to beat a dog with a baseball.
or you want this dog to become your friend. You want it to like play.
You don't
fetch.
throw a baseball at him.
Maybe it means
Near him.
towards. Yeah.
All right, I guess.
Tim gets a call on a Pokedex/Switch looking phone. Rewatching this movie, it definitely does kind of just look like a Switch.
I was sitting next to Cool Green and I was like, oh shit, it looks kind of like a Pokedex too.
Yeah.
Because the little side thing that
They have
popped
the little
out.
color fragment or little segments to it.
And he gets a call on the phone that his dad, a cop, died. He gets on a train to Rhyme City to collect his dad's stuff. This is the scene where we see Lickitung kind of come up, being all fucking creepy.
Weird.
Barrett, how'd that make you feel?
Looking in the mirror.
I fucking hate life.
So that shit happens. And then we see this video, what are they called? Those like city hype videos? Where it's
City
just
hype
kinda-
videos. That's
Yeah,
right.
you're
Come
like
visit
usually on
Rhyme
plane.
City
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It's like when you're
It's like
watching.
a promotional video for the city.
It's
Yeah.
like when you're watching
like that
college
weird Oregon
football,
city.
and then they show a
Weird
video and
Oregon
they're
City
like,
or the best
"Come to our
promotional
university."
video.
us, man.
Yeah.
I
So-
think. Oh, sorry.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say Oregon has hands down the best like
do.
promotional video.
If you haven't seen Oregon's, Google it.
It's like flying fucking
It's
dinosaurs.
Miyazaki.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that
I've been to
Pokemon-
Oregon. I've seen none of those things.
Pokemon Company was not really too excited about the use of Lickitung. Like they did not really like that he was going to lick a person. They said that it made them uncomfortable.
I honestly,
it made me uncomfortable, too.
this scene is one of the scenes that makes this like a little kid movie.
they were
where it's
like hesitant
like,
about doing it.
This is
yeah.
not how an adult in real life would react if like a Pokemon walked up to them and then slowly came to lick their tongue.
But
or,
also,
like, their
when
face.
you design a character like that, what do you expect the character to do in a narrative like this? Like, what's the point of having a character with a giant tongue?
I will argue, Lickitung, bizarre choice to be in the movie, but I appreciate that because like there was the obvious ones. We got the Charmanders, we got the Pikachu, obviously.
Sure.
But then they just randomly picked and chose some ones, and I'm like, why? How did Lickitung make the cut? There was
Like, I like
a
that we
Goes the
were
World though.
Gen 1, you know.
There was
like,
a really
lot of
cool
them.
graph of like all the different Pokemon from all the different gens, and like Gen 1 had like 40% representation, and then like Gen 2 I think had like only a little bit, but then 3, 4, and 5.
Gen
like,
2, we
it
got
was cool.
We got Totodile in
my
there,
dude.
which was fucking awesome. And then the Ape Bomb, like the little monkey guys that attack. That's Gen 2. We get references to a
was
bunch
cool.
of Gen 2 stuff. It is cool. We get this video showing the Metropolis that outlaws Pokemon fighting and pushes the bonds of humans and Pokemon alike, created by Howard Clifford, played by Bill Nye.
Love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
From Love
a
Actually.
big fan of Bill Nye from Love Actually.
Love Actually
and
is the
yeah,
best,
he's so
best voice ever
good.
done.
From
Love is in
Shaun of the
air.
Dead, right? And
Yep.
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Safety first.
Yeah, he's
Safety
great.
first.
And this was cool because it kind of was presented in the style of Professor Oak's like opening scenes when he's explaining the game to you when you first start the game. It's like, welcome to the world of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And you see the kind of
Welcome to
silhouette
Pokemon.
before he pops in. And then he has the Totodile with him in his explorations that he's been doing. Then you see like how the Squirrel Squad gets a little cameo there with the firefighters. They're all putting out the fire, which is just so cool.
Yeah.
is there
really
anything
rad.
fucking cooler?
Yeah, it's really rad.
Oh man! And then we get a Pokemon Stadium battle, and we get this like kind of giant arena where you get to see like what the Pokemon battles are that we're not gonna get in Rhyme City. And
Some
you see
red-looking guy.
this woman with an afro with like these giant Pokemon. It's fucking awesome. And then you see this guy that could be Ash, having a very Ash looking hat. Would be the age Ash would be 20 years after the events. Very cool stuff. But cuts away really quick, so we'll never know until the sequel. Where am I here? Then we get the debut of Rhyme City. He walks in. This is where we get the shot of him looking around, and it looks like this.
Yeah.
And it's
cool.
super cool, super stylized. Everything's neon. There's just too many Easter eggs to count.
That's what I'm saying. If I were made the mayor or governor or whatever, I would make large cities all have neon signs everywhere. I want to be in Blade Runner. I want to be in Rhyme City. Like, it would just cities would look so much cooler because of it.
Go to Tokyo. You'd really like it.
I'd be the mayor there then.
You would be.
Oh man,
Yeah.
the mayor of Tokyo, Andy Cortez.
way.
But yeah, you can see even here, it's just like we got every single thing as a reference to a Pokemon or to some item in Pokemon or something. Right, we got the Nocturne Cafe. We got a
Mr.
bunch
Mime
of
I
stuff.
thought this was
Only.
cool too because I'm not familiar with the lore obviously, and I'm sure Rhyme City has been. Is that something they've
Rhyme
introduced
City
before?
So
Created for
we
this,
should have
wasn't
started.
it? Yeah.
We should have started this. This movie is actually based on a game called Detective Pikachu.
Okay.
That is a more narrative based game on the DS.
Got it.
That is in the world of Pokemon, but it's not. It's a spin-off, right?
Yeah.
Rhyme City's in that game.
What I thought was cool is I like
didn't
this
know that.
device because it gives you an opportunity to be like, this is where everyone would go if you're like a huge Pokemon fan, right? In the world. He's made this world. He made this city specifically designed so that humans and Pokemon can like interact and like be homies together. And that's why I thought it was cool because it gave the filmmakers an excuse to like throw all of this shit at you at once and have it not, because one of the things that stood out I was like, this thing it's just Pokemon or nothing in this city. There's no other things happening in the city.
Well, that's Pokemon,
And that makes sense.
In the games and everything, it's like literally their entire world is.
But
based
we didn't
on
see
Pokemon.
we didn't see that necessarily like in the rural area. It was a little less like when you come in here, they're like, this is where you fucking go if you're a Pokemon fan. And I think I liked a lot of the visuals here, and I liked that it was like
great.
Blade Runner light, you know,
Which
it was like a
is
PG
cool.
Blade Runner, which was fun.
Yeah, we get a lot of neon signs with like the Nocturne Cafe, like I was talking about, like the apartments, Oak Apartments, reference to Professor Oak. But what's really cool is this is where we see the Pokemon kind of working in tandem with the humans for the first time. We get the Snorlax blocking traffic, which is throwback to the game where the same thing happened, and we get the Machamp using all four of his arms to kind of direct traffic, and it's like I just
cool.
love
Real cool.
that because they're just like what are just cool things we can do if Pokemon were working with people. Let's do them. Let's show off this.
It's just eye candy. It's everywhere you look. There's another thing to go. Oh shit! They have. I didn't know this Pokemon was in there. Like, it's so cool.
Then you get him walking into the police station, and you see the Growlithe and the Arcanines, which Officer Jenny had in the
Wait, there was
anime.
an Arcanine?
Yeah.
And
Oh
they're
wait,
huge,
you're right. I'm thinking Ninetales is what I wanted to see that didn't.
Which is really cool because
Yeah.
of course the Growlithe and Arcanine are going to be with the cops. He goes to see Lieutenant Yoshida, who is played by Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, boy, from
named
Inception.
after the prolific Pokemon designer Hironobu Yoshida.
that's cool.
He has his little Snubble, another Gen 2 Pokemon there. Little dog doing some shit. I don't know.
Very
growling.
cute in real
Yeah.
life. And like I've always thought the image of it, like I didn't like it, but seeing it real, I was like,
it's cute 'cause it's
very
ugly.
into-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of
Yeah.
those
Pound
things.
puppy.
It's like a bulldog.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, Snubble was actually one of the first Gen 2 Pokemon to be revealed. There was Togepi, Marill, and
We saw
that
Togepi
guy.
also.
Yeah, we did get
Yeah.
Togepi, which is dope.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
But in the
Sad.
first Pokemon movie, actually, it started with a little short Pikachu's Vacation.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And that debuted Snubble and all
I remember
them.
that.
How disappointing was Togepi's evolution?
Very disappointing.
Togechick or whatever.
don't even remember.
It was ugly. I didn't
So
like
ugly and dumb.
it. So pretty much he's just like, yo, your dad died. Sucks. Sorry. He was a great
He's
detective.
a lot cooler about it than you are being now.
And then it's like, hey, he loved you a lot. And Tim's just like, all
That's
right,
life,
I don't
bro.
really care
Like-
about it. Give me the keys. And he's like, I'll go with you. He's like, nah, I don't want that. I ain't about this Pokemon life anymore.
Right.
He's like, I thought you loved Pokemon. It's like, nah, man. And Snubble's all like, ooh, Snubble.
Yeah.
And then he gets the keys, goes back to goes to the apartment for the first time. When he walks in, there's a Trico on the glass, which is a nice little touch.
The gecko looking one, right?
That's the gecko, yeah.
He was cool.
And he's opening the like mail, I guess. And as we open the mail, we get the debut of Lucy Stevens, who's this like intern reporter. She works at the news station, and she's suspicious of Harry's death. Very ham-fisted dialogue. Everything she does or says is very
I
just
felt like
I'm a character.
I don't know if I didn't like the acting as much, or maybe it was the direction that she was given. But like overall, I was just like, "Ooh, this is not this is another one of those things that makes this movie a kid movie."
I felt the same way with her and with the son of the big corporation.
Clifford.
Yeah, Clifford. I felt
Roger
yeah,
Clifford.
they were very much like I'm a
Caricatures,
Well,
yeah.
Excuse me, like it was
Yeah,
very
yeah.
overacted.
I think that the
and I think that's
worst-
direction. I really do.
I think that the worst one was the DJ that we see later,
Yeah.
where it was just.
I don't
like,
know why
Jesus.
I love that because like
That guy was terrible.
That guy was terrible.
But it's like I
it
feel
should have
like,
been John Leguizamo. We all know it.
Really?
Why?
Yeah, I love
What
John
the
Leguizamo.
That's the most random thing you've ever said.
Didn't know Kevin was a big John Leguizamo
Did you
fan.
not? I'm a huge John
Queen
Leguizamo
Latifah
fan.
should have been in this movie. I swear to God. You're like, what? Why?
Just think
Why
about
would
John
Queen Latifah-
Leguizamo doing that role. He would have nailed it.
Yeah, okay. You're right.
I see. So like this character didn't draw me out as much as you guys did. I didn't mind her so much because I think they were going for like the noir like detective style, and I think a lot of those characters, those side characters in detective novels, detective movies, tend to be like the caricatures of or the archetypes of whatever those things are. And she didn't bother me that much. Actually, I happen to like this actress as well. So
The actress was great.
and I thought they had pretty okay chemistry together.
I thought they had good chemistry. Yeah.
Anyway, we also see her Psyduck for the first time, which is just fun because Psyduck's awesome.
So I
cute.
respect that this character is the one Pokemon that doesn't give a fuck. It just is there, like people take care of it. it's like
I hate
holding everyone
Psyduck.
hostage.
I hate Psyduck so
Psyduck's
much.
great.
Then he gets into the apartment, and the movie Angels with Filthy Souls is playing.
Yeah,
it's a
boy.
fake
Home Alone?
movie parody of Angels with Dirty Faces from Home Alone. Why?
I don't
That's
know.
so
I have
random.
no
Really
idea.
weird.
It was
sort of-
it was the exact same scene as well
Yep.
that he
Yeah.
watches in Home Alone. And
Yeah.
I was like, this is a weird,
Very
reference.
weird choice.
I thought it would have been a commercial of a
Keep
video
the
game.
change, you filthy animal.
Very weird.
Very,
very
very
strange.
weird.
Maybe
so-
the Home Alone, whoever wrote this was a huge Home Alone fan. Just love Macaulay.
Yeah, there's got to be
Culkin.
ties somewhere.
Something has to be in there.
So he gets into his room, which is a weird thing
Why?
because it's not his room.
They
like
explain
it's a
that
room
later.
that his dad made for him to
Yeah.
like feel welcome. But like, I just think that it's weird where, I mean,
You
you just walk in. There's a binder full of Pokemon cards that aren't your Pokemon cards. It's weird.
No, I got the idea that he did visit every once in a while.
Yeah, I
just
also
don't-
assume that, like,
his
he
dad
had
wanted
to.
him there a lot, though.
his dad wanted him to move, and
Yeah.
he was like, "Nah, man."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like he also like maybe when he was younger, those are the Pokemon cards that he was, and then once his mom passed, he was like, I don't want any part of this world anymore. Because that was sort of the B story in this, right? Was that
Yeah.
he was estranged from his father. If I remember
Lives
correctly,
with his grandmother.
He lives with his grandmother because his mother died, and he just didn't want to face that world. And his dad was never there because he was a cop, and like,
His
Yeah.
dad liked his job more than being a dad, apparently.
because let's be honest, that job is cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Fucking
It was a
cool
cool job.
You're a
Yeah.
detective.
got
Although
Pikachu with a little
like,
hat.
it was weird. The lines of what detectives are allowed to do in this world are a little blurred. Like he was kind of freelancing, and you're like, I don't know if that's
Oh yeah, that was
correct.
really weird. That was very
I
odd.
hired your dad. I'm like, I don't think you can just
you
hire
can't
a
hire a
police
cop.
detective. Like that's a huge conflict of interest, but maybe you can.
Well, I think it was like an inside job thing. Like I think that like
mean
they
he
were
was
trying to
undercover
get
Like he was
detective
Mewtwo
undercover.
as well,
But
and I
don't
think
you
things
think-
went bad.
but
I mean,
don't-
obviously they went bad because they were then trying to break Mewtwo out. That's what caused all the shit.
Yeah, he was like a double
but-
agent sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you think that he like actually caught Mewtwo with the okay of the like police?
Yeah.
Of Rhyme
They
City.
didn't really.
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
needed
yeah.
Just, they needed to
And then,
explain
like,
that a little
so-
bit.
I think it was like he was undercover with them to like be led to figuring out
but
finding
wouldn't
Mewtwo.
It was odd because they knew he was a cop. So why would they hire a cop to go get Mewtwo if you know what I mean?
dirty cops, man.
Was he a dirty cop?
He's the only one that could do it.
It's
He's
like
got
The
a Pikachu.
Departed,
You
dude.
can't be a dirty cop, but you got your Pokemon
If
partner
only
is
I had seen a
Pikachu.
rat at the end to understand it better.
So we get into his room and you're looking around, and this is probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie, just for the amount of world building and just
lot of crap in this
awesome
room.
things they did.
Love
of posters.
love the Pikachu ears in the bed.
Yeah, it's
That was
Pikachu ears
funny.
on the bed. We got the binder of the Pokemon cards. That was just so awesome.
So
Like,
cool.
We actually see this later in the movie. It doesn't matter though. It's in the room, and it's just like it's the same binder we all had. with
Who's the legendary, the toy that he has?
We got Rayquaza
There we go.
from Gen 3.
I was going to say Latvia.
up
but
on the
that's
top. And this is what I
It's a
really.
country.
This is something that I. We got
Hey, Nick,
Latvia
can you
out
give me
there.
water? Nick.
But this is something that was really cool is that we kind of see the world that they're building here. We see different posters talking about Johto and talking about Sinnoh, which are the different regions that we've seen in Gen 2, Gen 4. But on top of that, we get like the Johto Sports Club, and it's Articuno versus Steelix. And I love the idea that even legendary Pokemon at this point are just being caught and battled with. Like, because that's how the games are. But it's always such a weird thing where, like, can you imagine being in world, being a gym leader, and a motherfucker brings an Articuno in?
You're
Just
like, that's a
it's
god
like, yo,
almost,
what
like-
the fuck are you doing,
Yeah.
dude? But I liked it in this world. They're like, no, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
And then we saw
It's
like
20 years have passed.
But Articuno is not one of the god Pokemon.
No,
right?
but it's like
a god, but it's
later
legendary.
we
Yeah,
get
it's a
like god
legendary.
level
Arceus and
Pokemon. Yeah.
Palkia and
Yes,
Dialga
all
and
of
them.
those.
Yeah.
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, exactly. But then we get the poster. It's like the Cerulean Arena Final, Cerulean City from the Kanto region.
Misty's
I just
place.
love this shit, you know. And I also love the you see Sinnoh Championship and it's XXIV. So it's like there's been 24 of these things. Like I just love how much history they can show just from posters and things of that nature.
You know what would
when-
be cool if they created a VR world that you could just like
Be in it.
here's Tim's room, and
Yeah.
like you just put on the thing and like
Just,
you
like,
look
look
around and you look
around.
at all the Easter eggs and the
Just
same
cry
Flip through the
over
binder.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, dude.
I was gonna say, so when Ash was doing all this stuff, that was like the fourth or fifth one of the like tournaments that were going on.
Well, no, because that's not. He wasn't in Sinnoh. He was in Kanto.
you're right,
So we don't know the numbers there. So yeah, then eventually he goes in the living room and he's like looking at shit, and then he finds the R drug. In the game, it's Rage, but in this movie, the R is kind of stylized after the Team Rocket R, which is a
Which got-
weird thing.
It got people excited. I
Yeah.
know. I was like, oh shit, could
Me
it
too.
be Team Rocket?
It's definitely
Like,
exciting, but it is just like weird that they didn't go deeper into it if
Yeah.
it was Team Rocket involved.
but like if they do a sequel, it could be very easily like, no, it's not this other guy's name. It was Team Rocket all along. Ooh.
He meets Pikachu, can somehow talk. Scene we've seen a million times in the trailers. And just goddamn, can Ryan Reynolds do any wrong?
He's so good.
He's great. He was
I
really
love
great.
him.
I
hope
again,
he's
I
not a
went.
terrible person.
I had some doubts. Like, I did agree with a lot of people who said like, I wish it was a more gravelly voice actor, not necessarily Danny DeVito, but
A lot of
just
people are saying Danny DeVito.
Just somebody to change the vibe
But-
of it because
No,
I
it
guess
would've
we're so
sucked.
used to Deadpool, we're so used to
Yeah.
hearing that. That high pitched voice, that's Ryan Reynolds. And it's like, I don't know if I'm going to love this, but I was just proven
But
wrong.
can you imagine the end of the movie when it's revealed
that it's Danny
that his
DeVito?
dad is Danny DeVito?
I mean,
I've been here the whole time.
the age difference would have made more sense. I mean, not that Ryan Reynolds
is pretty fucking
not
old.
that he's not old enough to be his son, to be his dad, but he doesn't look old enough still. Like
Well, they aged him up a little bit too. They had they kept some of the gray, and he was
He was hot, dude.
he was a hot dad. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, undeniably, the best part of this movie is Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu.
He's
Yeah.
42.
Like we all went in looking forward to this, myself included, and he's just so fucking fun to watch and listen to, and you can tell some of the stuff was probably improv, and great, they kept it in.
He said he recorded a lot of R-rated lines.
Oh, that's great.
Also.
I mean, smell my finger line was just one day they
just so
snuck in there.
It's such a little finger.
That moment was very random.
Very inappropriate.
I just
But it
hear
gave me
Nick
a
behind
good-
me. I hear Nick behind me go.
It gave me a glimpse of and again, I think this movie, rightfully so, was where it needed to be as far as the style of humor was concerned. But there was a small part of me that was like, I would love a hardcore PG-13, almost R version of this movie floating around there
same,
somewhere.
yeah.
But I mean, you can't do that. It's a Pokemon movie. But I thought he was great.
So they're attacked by a party of Apom under the influence of the purple gas that Tim accidentally released, but they both escape. And it's a scene that honestly goes on too long.
Goes
was
on too long.
unnecessary.
Doesn't really do it
It's
for me.
It was a weird thing where I just don't like action for action's sake in movies.
Yeah.
And this chase scene kind of felt that way.
Yeah.
And resolved really quickly. And there wasn't any uniquely Pokemon moments about it. You know?
Yeah.
Apom kind of did the electricity thing and bopped out. That was cool.
But it got him naked almost, right?
It did.
Which
it
is
did.
weird.
Like,
A
yeah, it was
weird
super
joke.
weird, and it was like, all right, this
But-
is again kid movie.
And I think, I mean, I would say a lot of the action in this movie is action for action's sake. Again, most of this movie is for Pokemon fans who want to go and see all this stuff happening just because it's the first time they've really seen a fully realized live action version of this. But I think a lot of the action scenes for me just totally fell flat. I was way more interested in the dynamic between him and what was happening with his dad and with the Detective Pikachu.
I feel like that's kind of my argument, though, that the action scenes, they weren't even for Pokemon fans. We get the one battle.
Well, then we get the scene later where the big mountain things happen,
but
and I'm like, what's the point of this?
That's not a Pokemon thing, though.
Isn't that really? I don't know.
No.
That was my only way to explain half of the action in this movie that was super boring.
Yeah, no, it's like that. I thought that was a lot of bizarre choices. I do think it's just budgetary. And
in the
I imagine we'll
in the
get more
trailers
later.
with the rocks flying over, I remember the first thing I brought to you, Tim. I was like, man, I hope that's an Onyx thing or something. And then I think you guessed it was.
I guessed what they thought it was in the
Yeah,
movie, which was
exactly.
Psyduck using confusion and it fucking things up. But that wasn't it.
Yeah, it was just
It ended up
giant
being some weird fucking giant
whatever.
Yeah.
Tortuga Garden, the Tortuga Brothers Pizza.
But this scene was then cool because we kind of get a nighttime
My
scene of
shirt.
them walking through the city, and that's where we get the like, oh, you're so cute, the Pika Pika, like that thing. We see Charmander using his tail to like cook some food.
We get a
and stuff.
cocaine joke. Really
Yeah,
funny.
which
Yeah.
is very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
And little
What was the
kids
cocaine joke?
crack it up in my theater.
Kids love cocaine.
He talked about the gas. He was like, sorry, it's
Sorry,
something.
there's,
The thing went
the
up my
stuff in my
nose.
nose.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he was
yeah.
like, no, not what you think. Like,
And it
That
was just
was
like,
funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was
really
weird because there was like 6-year-olds cracking up. And I'm
I'm
like,
gonna tell you, it's a different world out there.
Maybe
Kids
they
start
thought-
using coke when they're 4.
Maybe they thought he was talking
Yeah.
about boogers.
They gotta get
Maybe
ahead,
boogies,
man.
maybe. Little
Adderall
boogie
ain't
joke.
doing it anymore. You gotta go straight for the fucking cocaine.
nothing like a good
Why'd you
boogie
have to say
joke.
it like that?
Cocaine. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
So they take shelter
Colombian
at a
cuckoo dust.
cafe.
Cuckoo dust. Colombian cuckoo dust is what he just said.
Just keep going.
They take shelter at a cafe. Jigglypuff sings
I
into
love
her,
this.
her little marker.
Someone's sleeping,
and the
Mike.
dude's sleeping, which is just so awesome. Like, Nick, if you don't know, Jigglypuff sings, causes
I
people
play
to come
Smash
to sleep.
Bros.
Oh, I'm well
Okay.
aware. I'm well aware. But in the anime,
You know how many times I've accidentally chosen Jigglypuff instead of Kirby by accident?
0. I don't think you've ever
Twice.
done
It's
that.
happened twice. And I just leaned in. I said, no, I meant to do this.
I'm puffing it
I
up.
was heartbroken that they, as they were leaving, didn't come back to the scene and
have.
have him doodled on his face.
Because the thing is, in the cartoon, Jigglypuff just sings and is upset that everyone keeps falling asleep when she
She
sings.
really wants people to listen to her sing.
And
It's very sad.
yeah, it's a tragic tale.
Wow.
But she just keeps singing into this marker, and then when they fall asleep, she like graffitis on their
really mean.
face. Cool Greg was really
She's that
into,
asshole.
into Jigglypuff.
Yeah,
My
she's
favorite,
that asshole.
one of my favorite parts in the movie is, we had this conversation between Pikachu and Tim at the bar, and in the background, there's just a Growlithe sitting there, like,
Yeah.
and it's just so cute. Like he did, and like
cute.
they totally like just looked at reference of a cute ass dog, and
Like,
he's my
nailed
favorite
it.
poke.
Nailed
Growlithe and Arcanine. are my
I feel
favorite.
like, sadly, though, this conversation was way spoiled in the trailer because all the funny, like, really funny moments that Pikachu has were 100% in the trailer. I don't think there was anything else in the movie. It's the small. I don't think you can put that in there. But they had that great line where he's like, where he says the theories, where he's like,
that one doesn't work at all.
that last one doesn't work at all. And I'm like, that's classic Ryan Reynolds humor. But
Yeah.
we saw that unfortunately in the trailers.
Pikachu reveals that he's an amnesiac detective who was Harry's partner and that they were investigating a case together when Harry disappeared. That was one of the funniest sentences to possibly read. Harry's deerstalker cap was left on Pikachu as the only known clues to his identity and Harry's whereabouts. So they
So
go back.
that was Harry's hat? Mm-hmm. Harry's wearing that hat.
The dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a dumb hat. You're like, it's a
he's
great
never-
hat. It's a great hat for a Pikachu that's also a detective's
thought it
partner.
was, yeah.
You know what I mean? But for an adult.
But then later we see him, that Pikachu's still wearing the hat. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he.
Maybe Pikachu just
It was
realized
a
the
small hat.
But
I don't
they
think-
also make a big
was
deal
a
out of how
small
like
hat.
because
Yeah,
there's a
I've never
throwaway
seen it.
line where like I've never seen a Pokemon wear a hat before.
Yeah.
It's like, well then why is this one wearing a hat?
Yeah.
That's weird. But it's a detective. I get it. We move on.
This episode of In Review is brought to you by Liquid IV. Liquid IV is the fastest, most efficient way to stay hydrated. If you're trying to drink more water, like you should, Liquid IV hydrates you 2 to 3 times faster and more efficiently than water alone with an added bonus of vitamin C, B3, B5, B6, and Andy's favorite, B12. Yesterday, Andy, you walked in, you're like, hey, let me get some of that Liquid IV because you're trying to stay hydrated.
Took
Is that
some
right?
home.
Yeah.
Used some last night. I felt unstoppable.
Wow.
Yeah.
It can provide the same hydration as drinking 2 to 3 bottles of water. I've been using it, and I've never felt more hydrated. I feel it flowing in my veins. A healthy alternative to traditional sugary sports drinks. No artificial flavors or preservatives. It contains 5 essential vitamins, including more vitamin C than an orange, and as much potassium as a banana. Have you ever seen Honey, I Shrunk the
Hey.
Kids 3?
I shook the
talk.
adults.
Honey,
You need that
Honey, we
potassium,
Shrunk
boy.
ourselves. Liquid IV helps prevent jet lag when traveling. It's TSA friendly and is perfect for on-the-go travelers. It helps to keep your skin hydrated while flying and can be used before, during, or after flights. You can go to liquidiv.com and enter promo code KFMS to get your savings and start getting better hydration. That's liquidiv.com, promo code KFMS, liquidiv.com, promo code KFMS. Don't wait. Start properly hydrating today. And also, shout out to Upstart. As most of us have found out the hard way, getting into debt is easy. Getting out is hard, especially if your FICO score isn't great. Sky-high interest rates can make it incredibly hard for you to break out of the revolving debt cycle. Thankfully now, there's Upstart.com, the revolutionary lending platform that offers smarter interest rates to help you pay off high-interest credit card debt. Growing up, one of my friends had a lot of issues with credit card debt and his credit score, and Upstart could have really helped with all that stuff, given his education level and jobs and all that stuff. Upstart goes beyond the traditional FICO score when assessing your credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter interest rate. Upstart believes you're more than simply just your credit score. They make it fast, simple, and that's right, easy to check your rate in just a few minutes without affecting your credit score. The best part, once the loan's approved, most people get their funds the very next day.
I had it.
The best part is what I just said. See why Upstart's ranked number one in the category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot. And hurry to upstart.com/morning to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes and won't affect your credit. That's upstart.com/morning. Where were we back in this beautiful, beautiful plot
We were
here?
leaving the bar.
Yeah, so it goes back to the house. And now it's like kind of like, oh, we're gonna start this journey. We got to go look for Lucy at the TV station.
Right.
He puts on a shirt with the Pokemon Unknown on it, a Gen 2 Pokemon that are all shaped like letters. So there's 26 different ones. And this one, throughout the movie, he puts on different shirts that have different unknown letters. They don't spell anything or do anything cool, but they're there. They look for Lucy and find her at the TV station. The Pokemon theme is playing in the background as they're like doing this like newscast announcing the Pokemon 10th anniversary parade of Rhyme City or whatever. And this was one of those hype moments for me where I'm like, this fucking song. I love that they're doing this right now. It's the instrumental of the theme song. They start showing all the different floats that they're going to have. A kind of nice nod to the Poke-Float stage, RIP, from Super Smash Bros. Melee, where there's just a bunch of floats of Pokemon where you jump
That
from
didn't
one
make
to
it
the
over?
other. One of the 6 stages to not make it over. Don't know why. RIP
Politics,
Poke-Floats.
dude. It's all politics.
It is all politics. Then we get our first shot at Ditto, where someone turns into a Ditto.
Which
Lucy.
is interesting.
Well, he turned into a PA.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And like started wheeling the dude off.
Yeah.
Also, we got that dumb scene between the dad and his son where it makes the son look kind of like an asshole.
Yeah.
And it's just like, again, it's like this overacting. It's like, I wish they had rang those sort of things back a little bit.
Lucy reveals that while investigating, she discovered that Harry was once at Rhyme Wharf and sent out to find clues. Whoa. So they go to the wharf. You see little Rattatas running around. It's like, God, this is great.
Wait. Do we get the moment yet? Sorry, I was in the restroom. Do we get the moment where Lucy gets told off by that boss?
That happened.
That happened there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the moment where he's like, and get a better fashion sense or whatever. And I was like, this is not.
This is not good. It's not realistic. But
So
neither
they-
are Pokemon.
They
So.
get to the wharf, and this is the Mr. Mime scene. Nick,
God damn.
how'd this make you feel?
I loved it. I love this scene. I think this
the
like,
whole time I was in the theater, I'm just like, Nick's probably dying.
I was
It could have
fucking-
gone
I
on
was
so much
dying.
longer, and I would have
I would've
loved it.
loved it.
Yeah, when I saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh man, this scene's gonna suck." And then
God,
watching
no.
the movie, I was like, "I'm enjoying all of this."
I'll tell you
goes
what, I
very
feel
dark
like-
and very quick. By
I feel
the
like
way.
the interrogation, I feel like that probably went a little too long. But the scene outside where he's trying to get away, I feel like could have gone on for 4 minutes,
Fucking
and I would have
so good.
loved every second
so
of it.
funny.
So once they get to the
Like this
interrogation,
Tries to run away.
I love though once the interrogation starts, the Mr. Mime just has so much attitude, and you can shove it. It's just like that. It is just so like
This was
smug.
another thing that did you have a fact in here, Poke fact?
Well, he uses barrier.
Okay, well
That's all I got.
like the Pokemon Company again with Mr. Mime was like, we
Why?
don't know if he's gonna be good for this movie because we don't think he'll translate well to the screen.
No,
and then
that's not what they said. They said we don't know what he is.
no, that's what I'm saying. And then the movie people were like, well, what is Mr. Mime? And they're like, we don't know.
But like that's such a weird question. It's
Yeah.
a fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, but like,
well,
what kind?
they
Like,
mean
is it
like
an ape?
Yeah, but like Pokemon are usually based off of some
Yeah,
kind of
animal.
animal.
They're trying to get
It's
like
based off of mine.
They're trying to get reference.
Yes, it's a mime.
They're trying to
It's
get
not
like
hard.
reference, like
The
what is
skin
his skin?
textures,
Yeah,
yeah.
and they're like, we don't fucking know. This guy's a creep, man.
He's the best.
This guy's
Wait,
a pervert.
my
I hope
question
to God he comes back in the next movie.
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Hope to God.
My
I
question
hope
is,
he's like the other character, like
God.
Pikachu and Mr.
Psyduck?
Mime.
Yeah.
I picture him being like sort of how what's his face in Ant-Man, the Mexican guy.
Lewis?
Yeah, I feel like he could sort of be
Michael
that
Peña.
added character where it's like, I just
yeah.
love whenever he's on screen, you know.
It was funny.
What do you think he does at the wharf or at the pier? What is his?
I don't wanna
Why
think
is
about
he
it.
there?
I don't want you Jinx.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Mr. Mime directs them to an illegal underground fighting arena owned by Sebastian. And this is where I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting the goddamn battle. And yes, we do. We walk in, we get this cage, LED walls, so many cameos here. This is where we see the Togepi.
Yeah. The girl in the back was holding it. I was like,
I didn't see
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
So it's the DJ is Diplo, who is an actual famous DJ. And then the host is this guy, Sebastian, who is a Mexican TV host.
in real life.
In real life.
Oh,
in real
okay.
life.
He's the guy with the Charizard on him.
Yeah.
Sebastian is his name.
Yeah.
And then the Pokemon Loudred are the speakers. They're doing this whole kind of dubstep
really
thing.
Did you hear the fact about these?
About the speakers?
Creating Loudred or whatever, they were like, it's weird creating this Pokemon because the mouth, the esophagus is just like a gaping black hole. And like a real creature, you would see some sort of anatomy in there, but we're like, we don't want to go that deep with like
that's weird.
how this will look. Like you should see intestines, like because there's no throat, there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like they were like creating this Pokemon was
Well, you
very
mean-
difficult, like making it look like a
You
real
wouldn't see
life thing.
intestines though. You'd see like the trachea because it's going into
You'd
the
see
lungs,
something
right? Or
gross.
so-
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're like, let's just make it a black hole.
You see how through the other side. That's what you see.
So this is where we get the only Pokemon battle in the entire movie, where we get Gengar versus Blastoise on the video walls. It's showing the moves they're doing. He's kind of announcing it as the whole thing, like the critical hit.
That was cool.
And,
Gengar
like,
looked
use
weird to me.
Shadow Bomb.
Gengar looked terrible.
He looked
Why
weird.
did they make him look so
They
bad?
did my boy dirty, Kev.
They did our boy so dirty.
He had like just weird
his eyes
teeth
were
and
like
stuff.
Which
yeah,
one's the
but
Gengar?
the big pink
was the big- I'm gonna
like
look it
the
up.
purple,
purple
ghost guy.
Yeah.
He's got a big old mouth.
I see
he
Gengar?
so that's what he looks like on the. Can you show the kids? This is what he looks like on the.
Regularly?
Yeah,
Yeah, hold on.
there it is. Cool, very cool looking Pokemon, and like we find that maybe a movie.
Just try typing Gengar Detective Pikachu and see
Yeah.
what's up. But yeah, he's definitely one of the more bizarre
Oh, there he is.
choices.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That thing
teeth.
looked like shit.
The teeth is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, it's
Really
it's
creepy
really hard
looking.
to see, but like also the eyes when he's not like making that expression kind of like stuck out a lot, and it just looked. It was so disappointing because he's one of my favorite Pokemon.
Maybe he got veneers. He was like, I'm a star now in the underground world. I got to get veneers.
Underground world. I love this shit because it was our only hints at what a real quote unquote Pokemon movie could be.
Who wins?
But I love Gengar wins. And they do
Makes
a cool
sense.
thing. So we see some
Blastoise
actual
faints.
moves. It's like, oh, we use Shadow Bomb. And then you see Double Team come up. And that's when there's a bunch of
that
the
was really
Gengars.
cool.
So cool.
And then he takes down the Blastoise, and then the announcer yells, "Taken down with one hit," and does it just like in Pokemon Stadium, which is fucking cool. But I liked Sebastian, the character, the announcer guy, because it's so over the top, and it's like it's Pokemon. He's the Pokemon announcer.
Like that's how
I liked
bosses
it.
are.
It reminds me
I
of,
liked
like-
him as an announcer. I don't like when he then walked over and was like, "Look at what you did to my Charizard. This is crazy."
I mean, he's a
Oh,
trainer.
it felt like right out of a game or
Yeah.
Sure.
the show.
I like that
It was
shit.
awesome.
But yeah, he then goes up to Tim and Pikachu trying to figure out who they're looking for. Sebastian kind of finds them, and he's like, "Fuck yo, Pikachu! He's like, I want a rematch. You fucked
Last
up my
week,
Charizard."
it scarred him. Like, so let's do it again.
He wants a rematch.
It seemed like an interesting choice.
Pissed off. He's all
that
hopped
he
up
has
on drugs.
all the R though.
Oh,
He's
that's
like, I'm gonna
right,
really
yeah.
fuck him up on the
Yeah.
drugs. So yeah, he challenged him to a rematch. Pikachu's like, yeah, fuck it. I fucked him up before. I guess I'll do it again.
Doing the stretching and warm ups.
So he hands him his hat. So Sebastian uses the R on the Charizard. Charizard starts going fucking nuts. And then like the Pikachu can't fucking use his moves. Pikachu's asking Tim like, what should I do? And Tim knows a lot about Pokemon. He's
cool.
just
That
like,
was
you
a
got
cool
quick
moment.
attack, you got Thunderbolt, you got this. You want to use Volt Tackle though. Volt Tackle, you might know, Nick, as the final smash of Pikachu.
Says that's one that makes him sleepy, right? That's what he said.
Yes.
Like, I can only use it
knocks him
once.
out.
Knocks
Yes.
me out. Yeah. Which
so then-
comes back, of course, later in the movie.
So then, yeah, they're fighting, and the Charizard's just fucking Pikachu up. So then Tim runs in and decides to fight the Charizard, which is a weird choice.
But I like how he did it. The
He
kicking the tail.
He tries to stomp out the light of the tail, which
Yeah.
would kill Charizard.
Yeah.
As we know.
Jesus.
So it's a little dark.
Do you think there's any like time to like get it relit, or is it just he's dead?
He's dead,
They
dude.
got a defibrillator. Come over there with a big lighter.
you blow on it a little bit.
Yeah. So then he fights. Then Sebastian decides to get in the ring as well, and gets knocked over, and all of the R
Drops
breaks.
down.
Goes everywhere. All the Pokemon start going nuts. The Loudred start doing real intense dubstep, and like everything's going.
Well, at that point
crazy.
they're just attacking, right?
I mean, no, they were just screaming noise, but like a lot of the other people's Pokemon were attacking everyone. But
Why-
then we get the fucking shot.
Wait, real quick before we go, why doesn't Pikachu react that way?
I don't know.
Okay.
He didn't smell the stuff.
I mean, no, he definitely smelled it. Everyone smelled it. Okay.
All the stuff.
Well, I just got to assume that this gas is like kind of like you can't really predict what it does because how does Tim hear Pokemon but not everybody else in there?
I assume that there
Like
was
all the
some
other
sort of
humans got
special
fucked up.
connection between him and his dad.
His dad.
Yeah. Which I
That's
assume
weird.
that must be it too. That like because his dad was in the Pikachu's body.
I just thought all the other
it didn't
humans
have
are going to
that
be affected
reaction.
by this.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Yeah.
Actually, Kevin's probably right because it was like a human, and it was a human soul in the Pikachu body. So
I didn't get the read that the gas did anything to humans at all.
I don't think it does.
Yeah.
Well, the gas is the only reason that Tim.
I mean, I think
No, he
that's
can
what
talk
they
to
were
his-
making it seem like.
He could talk to the Pikachu because it wasn't the gas. It was his dad.
The fatherly
and he had like a
bond.
connection to him.
I mean, they made a pretty big point of like the smoke
Yeah,
going
there
in
was
his
a
face
scene.
and him like, oh fuck, what is that? You
Yeah.
know, like he said fuck. No,
He's like, fuck, dude, the purple gas. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of weird plot stuff that like
yeah, it doesn't really
just
make
doesn't
sense.
matter.
They
and
needed
it's
to
not
flesh
great.
that part out a little bit more.
And also, I kind of was hoping that there would be a twist, not necessarily like a big story changing twist, but something that wasn't shown in the trailers was I was really hoping that when Tim is able to talk to his Pikachu, that now every Pokemon has a voice.
I thought that was- I thought
hoping
they were
for a
gonna
lot
do
of
that too.
I was hoping for a lot of like celebrity cameos.
Yeah.
Or, like,
Oh my
I just wanted to hear
God.
like Craig Robinson be somebody. and,
Dude,
like,
God, that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
Remember the one episode pretty early on in Pokemon where they, after the SSN crashed and they were on the Pokemon Island, and it was the episode without the humans.
Wait, the giant?
oh, they're
And
just
there was the
they're
giant
just like
Pokemon, and it was just
it's sort of like
just
Lord
them.
of the Flies sort of thing.
And like they were actually talking.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I want.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
rad. Anyway, yeah, we see the Magikarp that is just in the fish tank, and it's just like that was the moment. That was my most get hype moment of the whole movie because once the gas came out, I'm like, we're about to fucking get this Gyarados. This is about to be fucking awesome.
And you know why I was excited? Because I was like, we're about to get Gyarados, and maybe we'll see what he looks like with his mouth closed.
Did we?
Like, yeah, like he kind of opened and closed his mouth. He wasn't just like mouth agape. Because I've always wondered, like,
Close your
how
mouth,
does that
bro.
how does that
Was it
anatomy
cool?
work?
Did it look right?
And he was just like, that's cool. Like,
That's cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, like the Magikarp comes out and it's like it's the subverting of expectations. We all expected it to immediately happen. It doesn't. Pikachu's like, all it needs is a little kick. And he kicks it.
Kicks it.
Nothing happens, which is a reference to the cartoon where James kicked the Magikarp, which caused it to evolve. But that didn't happen until it did a second
James?
later. Jesse and James. Team Rocket.
Oh.
Check the world for devastation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole deal.
unite the world, something nation.
Yes. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Anyway, the Gyarados comes out. It uses Surf, pushes him out. But before that, or around that, Sebastian says he needs to go to the doctor. It's where he got the R. The doctor.
the doctor. This is London, baby.
It's London, baby.
Do you
Then
think the Charizard died?
Yeah.
then Tim gets arrested and taken to the lieutenant again, Mr. Yoshida. And Tim argues to Yoshida like, "Yo, dude, Harry's alive." And he's like, "Yo, bro, I'm sorry to tell you, he's not. He's fucking
We have
dead
the
Yeah.
videos.
as
Doornail.
doornails." Yeah, I was looking for you.
Which
Nick.
is
I was
weird
looking for you to
because
let me down.
you would think that like I just don't like the fact that this detective who was so fatherly, like the scene before, is just like super dismissive. Like, you got to just let this go. No, dude, I've got his Pokemon. Like, I've got like this thing's here telling me that it's
There's some semblance
Yeah,
of
there's
it.
Well,
some,
the reason he was doing that is he was like, "Yo, bro, I got the footage." And then he rolls the clip.
I didn't want to show you
I didn't
this.
want to show you your dad dying.
Right.
But also,
I'm going to.
It's also not his dad dying. It's just the the car going off the side.
Yeah, I feel like that footage was like.
I was like, this is not definitive, dude.
Yeah. And again,
Also, we saw this footage 18 more times, and every time there was new elements to it. You're like,
These
oh,
were
there's
the
great
worst.
ninja in it now?
These were the worst fucking detectives because there was no body, and the fact that they're like both. The dad and Pikachu crawl out the car. They know that like they were able to get out of the car, but then that was it. They're like, they must be dead. We can't find them. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Well, the
fucking
car
dumb.
exploded after that.
Yeah,
right?
which would have just
No, that was
incinerated
Fast and
everything.
Furious with the Letty.
No,
They gotta get Dominic Toretto on this case, dude.
I'm Dominic Terrell.
That's the wrong one.
No, that
You
was
don't
Jason
know me,
Statham.
because you're about to.
No, you're not Dom. You're the Brit.
Anyway, they watched the crash video.
Maybe the lieutenant guy knows that like some shady things going on. If the
And it's cover up shady cops. It all goes to the top.
Everyone's shady in Rhyme City.
Anyways, Pikachu and Tim are like
are you
hella
facing that way?
bummed and sad. And they're just like, oh, fuck, everyone leaves us. We're sad. Because at that point, he really thinks his dad's dead. And it's starting to hit him. But then Howard Clifford sends for him. Clifford's assistant has pink hair and wears sunglasses. Pikachu makes a joke about that's a bad guy car.
Yeah. I like that.
They get in the car. Then they go to the big tower, Howard Clifford's tower. And you see him, he's in a wheelchair, and he kind of like talks about evolution and how Pokemon are special, and that he wants to kind of find that to be able to help humanity.
is this when the Eevee evolves, or is that later?
It is here. So they get he's like talking about it, and it happens really quick. But you walk in, you see an Eevee on the desk, and then it just turns into Flareon. He mentions Flareon, but this is I said this earlier, but it's like for people like Nick that don't understand what's happening, you need to explain what's happening, or else it doesn't mean shit. You know?
Yeah,
Really
they
weird-
just don't do that.
Weird call.
Yeah.
Anyways, then he just keeps talking about all this fucking evolution bullshit. We see a water stone, ice stone, and moonstone on the desk.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that.
in the background, there's statues of Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia, which are
Saw those.
the god of the Pokemon universe, the god of time, and the god of space.
What's the third one?
Got a sandwiches.
The god?
Yeah.
There's a god. The god of everything.
Oh, so
yeah.
he's like their
Got
manager.
it. I thought you were saying got it.
Yeah.
You probably micromanage them a lot, right?
Yeah.
He's definitely the friend of gods.
Get your time better.
Yeah. I'm going to send you an email. It's 18 parts.
Anyway, we get Norman in the wheelchair, and he'd once tried to cure his alien condition, and instead he created the humanitarian city of Rhyme City. Then we get more revealing footage of Harry surviving the attack because he learned how to make some holographic thing where he's like, I spent
So
so much time
stupid.
in this chair that I can create
Bring the world to
convenient
me.
plot devices as well.
When that was introduced, I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I'm also a billionaire who can go anywhere in the world, but I'm going to spend most of my time making this holographic device because I'm in a wheelchair, even though this is super technical, like
built
technically
the city,
advanced world.
dude.
I know. He just go wherever he wants. He doesn't
You
need
can
that
fly
shit.
on anybody, on any Pokemon.
So we get footage of Harry
You can ride
surviving
a
the
fucking
attack.
Pikachu.
Apparently caused by the recently escaped Mewtwo, but it was taken away by the Pokemon, leaving Pikachu with amnesia. So we get the scene where it looks like Mewtwo is abducting Harry, and the Pikachu's just like, then Howard tells them to watch out for his son Roger, who he claims is in control of his company and the city. Remember this part because
Roger.
it's gonna come in handy later. All right.
That's what he was doing.
I don't like that.
I really
I
hate
think
that.
earlier,
like
did
that.
we also
I
see
wanna
do
earlier
that
Roger
fucking
put the
again.
sunglasses on as he was leaving? Because that was kind of a weird thing that he did, right? At some
You're
point.
right.
Yeah, remember
He
as he's
did.
leaving, he puts the aviators on.
I
You're
didn't
like-
notice that.
You're like, oh, cool. He puts the aviator. So that then he's wearing aviators the
That
entire
makes
next scene,
sense.
so you didn't think that it was
Subtle.
Ditto.
Subtle.
Yeah.
Good for you, Nick.
Thanks,
Good for
man.
you.
Wow. we got a Detective
Detective
Scarpino
Nick here, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway, so then Tim and Pikachu get Lucy and Psyduck. There's a scene of them in the cafe, but it was unnecessary. Doesn't matter. Then they drive to the lab facility in a very little car.
I love it.
And Psyduck's in the back seat. They're
Making
talking
him rub
about
his
his
feet.
confusion. And Pikachu looks so cute in the fucking little car seat.
It's so good.
And it's just such a great scene of them going back and forth. And Psyduck is just like having him massage his feet.
Is that a Psyduck thing that he explodes?
No. Oh, well, yeah. In the cartoon? Yeah, he has confusion. And he's really sensitive, and if you fuck with him too much, he like freaks the fuck out and it messes everyone up.
God, I hate Psyduck so much.
He's great.
It's so great.
Golduck is so much cooler than him, you know?
But
He
I love,
looks cooler.
I love Psyduck's like attitude in this because we don't normally see him taking advantage of people taking care of him.
It's funny.
Which was
It's cute.
very fun. So they get into the place, whatever. A lot of dumbass relationship building between the main characters because we have to.
We see that. We see the tanks were freaky. I thought it was like kind of, they had some cool beats in this.
Well, so this is where they get into
Right.
the lab, and we see that experiments are being done on the different Pokemon. There's a bunch of different lists around. We specifically see that experiments are being done on a bunch of Greninja to make them. Ooh, see, that was good.
Smash Bros. That's Smash
That's
Bros.
much better
That's
than
a Smash Bros.
Yeah, but you nailed it. Unlike the Pikachu. I
Oh, yeah, you did a bad job with
got
it.
it.
you gotta go home and workshop that. That's better.
Were you concerned at all about the Great Ninjas and the fact that they've been there for like what they said like a week or two?
Super hungry, right?
Like yeah, they hadn't eaten. I was scared they were gonna eat everyone.
Me too.
They're gonna eat each other.
Fucking tongues. But anyways, the Greninja were being experimented on to be more powerful.
wrong with
We saw hints that Ditto were being experimented on, which we see later of why Ditto has such weird powers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you think that most Dittos in this world can't turn into
Turn
humans?
into people? I don't think so.
But like I feel like if in the movie
Or at least-
in the studio they would have freaked out about it.
But they
if
can turn. I think they can turn
a
into
guy.
people, but like that they've seen that are in front of them, not just any people they want. Ditto, like the Pokemon, can't just turn into any Pokemon. It needs to be a Ditto of what it's facing.
He had all the like he could do the moves that he was copying to, right?
Yeah.
With transform.
Oh.
Scary. Creepy.
Yes. Anyway, and then the Torterra was like, oh, they're being experimented to be giant, but these don't look giant. I wonder what's going to happen. And then we get a bunch of
pointless
hologram
scene.
stuff. So pretty much Psyduck and not Misty walk away and are looking at a bunch of shit. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Like,
Lucy, James.
yeah. Lucy James was there. And then Pikachu and Tim go off to see the Mewtwo's escaped little area. And then there's convenient holographic things where they can
That
roll
barf
back time.
technology.
It's
MCU
barf.
didn't use
Exactly.
it too much, but they
Brought
will.
it back.
Yeah.
So then we see Dr. Anne Laurent, aka Rita Ora, aka It's London Baby, talking about how Mewtwo broke out of the Kanto region 20 years ago.
Really cool.
Which is super hype. A reference to either the movie that came out 20 years ago or the game that came out around that time as well. Either way, very fucking cool stuff. And they say that it's been recaptured by Harry, which is fucking badass. The idea that Ryan Reynolds was out there and caught a Mewtwo, hell yeah.
He's a master trainer.
Let's
dude.
fucking go. Gotta catch them all.
Like, is there any chance that Harry is actually somehow red?
No,
He has a pet Pikachu.
it's not the Pikachu.
He
though.
caught, but it could be.
You mean Ash, not Red?
Yeah, whatever. They're the same, right?
No,
No.
they're not.
Really?
And depending on whether it's game or movie, it would be Ash or Red. Anyways, Roger, we get a shot of him like Skyping in, and he opens the cages, and they're attacked by Greninja. They all kind of run out, escape. They run through the.
I was ready for some jump scares
Torterra.
here.
Yeah, they did a little alien scene.
Yeah,
where
yeah. The
with
saliva spilling down.
Yeah.
Greninja are fucking dope too.
Yeah.
very
They're
cool.
so cool. The way they wear their tongue as a scarf.
I hate it.
The
So
way they
rad.
move.
Anyway, they run out into the Torterra Gardens, and then they fight off the Greninja, but as they're running, they realize they're kind of fucked. And then Pikachu's like, Psyduck, shut the fuck up, stop being weird. He's like, actually, be weird, use confusion. Psyduck uses confusion, it fucks everything up.
Good thing it
Then
doesn't hurt humans too much.
they all kind of like fall down, and then like it looks like the land is inceptioning over them, and they think that it's Psyduck's confusion. It's not. It's real, and it's the giant Torterra that they're actually on. They're in the gardens on the Torterra. The Torterra getting up. The first time I watched this movie, I was like, why is this scene lasting 3,000
so
hours? The second time didn't feel as long because I knew what was happening.
Right.
Like, I think it's a weird thing of like knowing that they're the Pokemon. I was like, oh, all right.
I mean, I kind of figured that out when the mountain started moving. I was like, oh, that's the actual garden. That's funny.
It was weird. It did last long, and again, it's action for action's sake. Where I'm like, this isn't fun to watch, really. Like, and it's not like Pokemon specific. So why are we doing it?
Yeah.
I feel like do you think those Torterras would fit in a Pokeball?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a very good question.
I'm just,
So anyway, Tim, they land and everything's all fucked. Pikachu gets hit in the head with a rock, and it was like really anticlimactic, but it's like it fucked him up now.
Yeah,
And
you didn't realize how bad it was at the time.
Yeah.
Until
It
he's
was-
like, I'm fucking seeing the light, Tim.
yeah, but that was the thing is like it looked like he just kind of got hit, but then like the next
you said
scene,
the first time you laughed because you
but
were
it was
like,
funny. It was just like
because it was very random and it wasn't a
dipshit
big
rock.
Yeah.
But then when they get down there and Pikachu's all fucked up, immediately I turned into an 8-year-old boy. And
Oh
I'm
my
just
God,
like,
it got so serious
it was
so
like,
quickly.
this is just like the fucking first episode of Pokemon when he gets attacked by the goddamn sparrows. Ugh. So sad looking, the little goddamn Pikachu Ryan
It was
Reynolds.
so, and he was on that little rock, and it was just like, this is like,
This
what are
is
we
it.
gonna do?
This
Is
is
Pikachu
it.
about to die?
And then Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Just comes walking
Not
on
making
in.
Bulbasaur noises though.
No,
Little
yeah, it
chirps
bothered
and
me a lot.
coos and
Yeah.
shit.
Bamba. It wasn't doing that bullshit.
That's all he had to do, dude.
That's how they sound, Nick. They go Bamba.
All right,
Yeah.
man, I know it.
It's just like a
That was
human.
pretty good. I'll give you that.
Can you give me Pikachu again?
Pikachu.
Oh, it's much better.
That was better.
Pika.
No, I hate that.
I don't like when it sounds like a creepy guy pretending to be Pikachu.
Yeah, that's really
Sound like a pervert when you
It makes me
Anyways.
feel like I could feel your beard when you say that.
Like if you were in one of those Pikachu suits, that's what you would sound like.
Go get in the Pikachu suit. Let's see what happens.
The Bulbasaur come and he's just like, hey, help me, Bulbasaur. You're my only hope.
Why
Like,
do you-
Pikachu needs help. And Bulbasaur like kind of looks at him and just like, sorry, bro, and like walks away. But no, it's revealed that you can't talk to Pokemon, but they can feel your emotions. They feel what you
Well, they
need.
say that earlier.
And then Bulbasaur comes back and he's just like, I got my bros with me. And all of a sudden it's like, oh shit. But one of the coolest things is they all start walking and the main Bulbasaur just looks at Lucy just like,
They kind of like come. They block her
they're
off.
like, nah, dude. They're in.
It's cool.
You're not. I'm like, this is rad.
Yeah.
It's like the Bulbasaur Forest episode of the anime.
Yeah. At that moment, I like leaned over to Greg, Cool Greg, and I was like, the Bulbasaur didn't understand.
So anyway, they like walk through this
They're
little.
like just trying to eat
yeah, they're all
him.
trying to watch.
they're about to sacrifice him. So then they go and they walk through this ravine and they put him on this little rock like in Frozen.
What are all the floating things?
I don't know. That's a Gen 5 or something that I'm just not too familiar with.
I do wish we had gotten like them using their like
Vines.
vines to hold up Pikachu because it would have looked really creepy.
That would have looked good. But yeah,
He's
so
a kid. Careful.
It's a, but then it's one of those sad classic Pokemon moments where you're like worried about it and shit. Imagine if they brought him to a Pokemon Center and we fucking got to see Nurse Joy, dude. Whatever. They put him on
We'll
this
get
little
to it
thing.
later.
Nurse Joy?
Yeah.
Is Nurse Joy hot?
She's always
Yeah.
was in my
I
fantasy.
mean, yeah, that's the thing.
As a kid, it was like
Because
Officer
Nurse Joy
Jenny and Nurse
sounds-
Joy.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Barrett, can you pull up Nurse Joy and then write the word hot next to it? See what happens.
No, don't do that.
Bring up Nurse Joy cosplay porno
No.
and see.
I think it
Yeah,
exists.
Nurse Joy was hot.
Yeah, she was super hot.
She was hot.
Oh my God. All right. So, anyways,
And then
Nurse
to write
Joy
hot-
didn't show up.
Oh, was Officer Jenny hot too?
Yeah, Officer Jenna is beautiful.
Why are their skirts so short for like
All right.
kids movies?
So,
He didn't have to write hot. Did you see
all right,
that? Like
we're
four
here.
theories?
Pikachu's on the rock, and it's like, who's gonna save them? It's fucking Mewtwo.
Yeah.
And this was one of those like Vulture opening the door moments. Oh shit, dude! And it's like, what's going on? And Mewtwo's like, yo, bro, I'm kind of a
Pedro?
good. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, Mewtwo's a good guy. I guess that actually makes a lot of sense. And then all of a sudden, you see those fucking Shadow Ball things from the first Pokemon movie that capture him, and he gets into the same pose. I'm like, oh my God, this is rad. And it's like, oh, that Roger, that bad Roger.
Did he save Pikachu first though?
Yeah, he made him all. He healed him.
he healed him.
He used Recover. It's a Pokemon move.
It
Yeah,
is.
pretty damn cool. Anyways, yeah, that's that. And then
You see Roger with the glasses.
Roger has the glasses, takes the
You
Mewtwo.
fucker.
Yeah, Jesus.
Go to hell.
Anyway, then like we also get yet another flash back to the scene of the crime, and Pikachu sees the past, which is
Freak him out.
him kind of like running through, and he was the one electrocuting the thing. They were trying to break out Pikachu, but at this point, we still don't have the full.
They were
story.
trying to break out Mewtwo.
Break out Mewtwo. We still don't have the full story though.
But we
Pikachu
get
then
part
walks
of-
away, and he's like, fuck, like I betrayed Harry. I'm a bad Pikachu.
Don't we also get part of it where we hear Mewtwo be like, "All humans are evil"?
Yes. And so he's like,
terrifying.
fuck, I'm with Mewtwo. I betrayed my partner. This is bad news for everybody.
This turn happened too quick. I didn't like how fast.
It
like,
bothers me how much like Mewtwo, like the fact that Mewtwo can talk. That's so creepy.
It's kind of cool.
It's scary.
But what if it were James Earl Jones talking? That'd be cool.
I like how it was a male and female voice on top
Oh,
of
really?
each
I didn't
other.
know that.
Yeah, it's cool
That's
shit. Anyways, then Pikachu kind of was just like, hey, Tim, sorry, I'm out. Like, I'm being hella emo right now, and like, I'm going to betray you and hurt you just like I hurt everyone. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Exactly. I
All
didn't,
right,
I didn't
sure.
like all
he
that.
just found out he betrayed his like owner, dude. He was like, I was the cause of this.
Then fix
It
the
was
problem.
dumb,
Don't
but
run
yeah.
away again.
But
Anyway.
like, he doesn't know why he did it.
He
So
pushes
felt
people away, like he
compelled-
said.
He felt compelled that he would be able to, like, Might
he
be able
runs
to fall in
away.
that trap again.
Pikachu runs away. He finds the car crash, the scene of the crime.
terrible character
And
development.
as he's walking, he's singing the song, a very sad version of the Pokemon theme song.
Another phenomenal moment.
To catch them is my real test.
So good.
Because he's Ash. You
And that's
know?
when he comes on the bridge, right?
Yes.
When he sees the Great Ninja Stars or whatever they are.
Yeah, he
And was
sees
like,
the Green
"What?"
Ninja Star, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And then he has a Dominic Toretto moment where he sees it all again. He's like, "Holy shit!"
Tim, it's the mind of a detective, right? Don't pretend like you can understand it.
Yeah.
So anyway, then Tim
Race culture.
simultaneously is going to talk to Howard and be like, "Yo, bro, Roger took Mewtwo. Everything's fucked." But then he learns that he's too late and that Howard is actually the villain of this movie.
Dun, dun, dun.
And he intends to transfer his consciousness into Mewtwo and use R so that the Pokemon can become docile enough for him to fuse them with their owners, thus allowing humans to evolve within their Pokemon. As Howard in Mewtwo's body releases the gas into the world, Pikachu arrives and finally summons his electricity powers to battle Mewtwo. So that's a real condensed thing, but really, I don't need to say much more.
Yeah.
We get some scenes of the Poke Floats. It's revealed there's gas in the floats.
We're gonna spend any
we see
time-
Roger's eyes.
Yeah, we're gonna
Ditto
spend any
eyes.
time talking about Ditto's eyes and how fucking
Creepy.
terrifying
I'm
they
not
are.
to get
Creepy.
to that, but yeah, there's a lot of this stuff happening. But then Tim finds out that Roger, quote unquote, was actually Miss Norman, who's a modified Ditto. The real Roger having been tied up and hidden in the closet.
Naturally.
The closet right next to him, real convenient. How long do
so-
you think he was there?
Tim subdues the Ditto with the R because Ditto comes out and it keeps transforming into a bunch of different things, including Lucy and a Machamp and like pretty much any Pokemon that they had a design for at one point.
Tauros.
they like mash into it. And then yeah, Tim subdues the Ditto with the R. Then we get Pikachu out fighting Mewtwo, who's actually Harry.
Harry.
What, no, not Harry.
No, you're right.
Norman. No, it's not Norman. I don't remember the hell's name. It doesn't matter.
Norman
the old
Osborn.
guy.
The old
Bill
dude.
Nye is in the Pikachu. And
No.
in the
Mewtwo.
Bill
Keep it
Nye
straight, Tim.
is in the Mewtwo, and Pikachu's fighting him. The music starts getting real intense. It's fucking Super Smash Brothers Melee playing on Poke Floats. They're bouncing around, and Pikachu's like, "What was the move? Fucking Volt Tackle." And he uses it, and he has his electricity back. And I'm like, "This is so hype," and I love everything about this. But yeah, they bust Mewtwo in. He's like, "Oh, it's too late," and then Tim kind of fucking just takes the thing off the old guy.
It worked
and
real
he's like,
well.
"Well, you're fucked now."
Yeah. What was your plan here, old guy? You were going to stay in Mewtwo? Like, what was going to happen with your body?
I really.
What if you had to pee? You know what I mean?
I feel like you just stick a catheter in there.
You think he was catheterized the entire time?
Well,
We didn't
I don't
know
think
it?
he. I think this is preliminary
Do you
testing.
think when you go over to your desk, it just and then you just can
it
exist?
definitely doesn't automatically do it.
Because I thought when he was like, I'm going to merge my consciousness with
Consciousness.
Mewtwo, I'm just going to go into him, my body's going to die. But it turns out that you had to still keep his body alive. I'm like, this is a dumb plan.
because
It's not going to work.
Mewtwo's the only one that can switch people like that, and he
Right, but
can't
I
switch
thought it was going to be a
himself.
little bit more permanent. Of
think
like,
it-
I go into it, but
I think it would have been.
He was wearing the weird thing from Strange Days.
I think it would have been after all that because like all the other people get put into their Pokemon.
They had no
one would
bodies.
have been
Right,
able
but
to
then why
stop
didn't
him.
he just do that?
I don't know.
That's
I-
weird. Like,
Can
wouldn't
Mewtwo
wouldn't
do
that
it
Mewtwo
have
wasn't
himself?
his Pokemon. That's probably why.
Yeah.
But he didn't
Yeah, they
have
didn't
a
have that
Pokemon,
bond.
did he?
No. Well, I
No, the
we don't
Ditto.
know.
He had the Ditto.
I guess you're right.
Science go far here.
Science does go far here. Anyway, Mewtwo restores, or Pikachu kind of falls, and Mewtwo saves him using some type of psychic shit.
That was a scene that I liked, like having the Pikachu just falling. We all knew what was gonna happen, but it's still when he stops, and then it's Mewtwo just being like, "Cool Mewtwo now."
Yeah.
I'm
And like,
cool.
"What's up, dude?
Cool, too.
I'm back. Thanks for waking me up."
We also get some shout outs to Ancient Mew in this movie. A lot earlier. Thought that was cool.
There was the hieroglyphs that we see at one point.
Mewtwo restores everyone to normal while Howard is arrested. Roger is impressed with Lucy and hires her as a full-time reporter.
Naturally.
Dumb movie stuff.
Mewtwo then reveals that
Even
Harry,
though literally the day prior he insulted her wardrobe and called her trash.
It's true. Well, he was irritated. His dad. We've all been there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mewtwo then reveals that Harry was in fact fused with Pikachu in order to heal him. And then the fuse erased Harry's memory while keeping his consciousness within Pikachu. After Mewtwo unfuses them with the help of Tim, a fully revived Harry offers Tim the chance to return home. But Tim decides to stay in order to learn how to become a detective and spend time with him and Pikachu. So yeah, this whole scene, this is where we get the reveal of Ryan Reynolds. Pretty cool. We see Justice Smith there, little Pikachu with the hat, and you hear Ryan Reynolds' voice, and the camera goes back, and it's old Ryan Reynolds.
It's cool.
Which I thought was really cool, but then I was a little disappointed because it just seems so like we're never gonna get another one of these again. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. Like, how are they gonna get Ryan Reynolds back in the Pikachu for Detective Pikachu 2?
Yeah.
It's gonna be weird, right?
I don't know, like the difference with the ending of the game, because the ending of the game, they don't solve the mystery or anything, right? Like
No,
they
he's not. The
they
Pikachu's
don't-
not his dad. In the game.
and they don't
Wait,
find
in
the
the
dad
game,
yet.
does he talk to the Pikachu?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that
the
was
same idea.
This was a little weird for me because like if you realize that your dead dad was in this thing, it changes the relationship dynamic so much that it just makes it kind of, in my opinion, like. I mean, if they're going to do it again and that becomes the trope again, it's just not as fun. They can't have Justice Smith be. It's got to be someone else.
I mean, I think that's the thing is like, hopefully they don't do it that way. I think that now it is like, this was the spinoff. Now we're going to give you a more traditional Pokemon movie and build the world out
Right.
that way. If we get a Detective Pikachu 2 specifically, I feel like we'll still have Ryan Reynolds as his
That
character. The Pikachu will just
Harry.
be a Pikachu though.
I just feel like that's a huge missed opportunity because like the concept of Pikachu talking was such a fun draw for me that like if he's just going to say Pika the entire time and be this like puddly sidekick, it's not going to be as fun.
I think that it could be really awesome with what they built here. Anyway, yeah, then we get the dopest fucking credit scene I've ever seen. Starting off with the original Game Boy battle scene, but it's the Charizard and Pikachu, and as it crosses and it pops up and it's like the original style art of all the
cool.
Pokemon we see and all the trainers in the, or not trainers, all the human characters in the movie done in the art style of the original games. Super freaking cool. Ends with a little pixel Pokeball. The original Pokemon game theme song's playing, a remix of it. And I'm just like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking get hyped. No post-credit scene. I was very sad to
Very
see.
disappointing.
So much potential.
Come
to
on,
do some
Pokemon
cool
Company,
shit, man.
haven't you learned from MCU? Got to give us something for later.
We're learning
a
from the
dude.
Power
Ditto
Rangers
come back.
movie. Remember that?
No.
What was the?
I
They
don't
hinted at the Green Ranger, and that sequel ain't happening.
Shit. Thanks, Saban.
They tried their hardest. They made a lot of money overseas.
It's true.
But yeah,
I know.
I think this movie's going to do very well, and I'm really hoping it builds to a proper universe. They've talked about doing Pokemon Red.
Couldn't beat Endgame though.
Nothing can beat a game.
That's fine.
This was unfortunate timing for Pokemon. They should have maybe put it out like 1 or 2 more weeks, but
I don't think
fine.
it's really going to affect it too much, like because it's not limiting the amount of screens it can be in. And at
Isn't
this
it
point-
though? I feel like it is.
I mean, the fact that it was in Dolby opening night to me shows that it's not actually affecting it. Because if they kept Endgame in the Dolby theaters, that would have like affected things. But they're not limiting the auditoriums it can be in.
We'll see.
It's in whatever. it was
I am
going to
kind
be.
of shocked that it's only made 179.
Yeah, that sounds low for an opening weekend for that. But I guess it may,
No,
we'll see.
I feel like that sounds like a lot for
170
open. Yeah, for an
to
open.
break even on your opening weekend. That seems for a
All the
$150
headlines-
million movie. It's kind of crazy.
All the
isn't it?
headlines are saying it's doing really well.
Okay.
I guess like opening week is
I'm
normally
used,
like
I'm used to
80
like
million.
100.
Yeah, you're
Well, no,
used
I mean, I'm used to Marvel
like
movies that are
movies
150
like-
will do $1 billion,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not
So-
opening weekend, with the exception.
with the exception of Endgame,
Of
at
Endgame.
2.3 billion.
Yeah, but usually it's like not
700,
usually.
800.
What Infinity War did somewhere like 500 million opening weekend.
Yeah, I guess
and
that's
like
true.
Infinity War was a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Fucking-
So you can go to
170, not bad.
patreon.com/kindafunny to write in your haikus in review. Ignacio Rojas writes in, I couldn't stop smiling. It's a whole new world we live in. PCU, let's go. It's the Pokemon Cinematic Universe.
Oh, I really
Nick
hope they get
Schreiber
there.
says, saw the twist coming. Ditto is in my nightmares. Pika Pika, bitch.
Pika,
Give her the with the bitch too.
It's just not.
Pika, bitch.
Like that?
Sure.
I need you to
Give
work
me
on
more
that.
Jesse.
I
need you
was
to
expecting you were
workshop
going to do your Pika Pika and then do your
got it.
the Breaking Bad bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there
Thank
it
you.
is.
Nanobiologist says, this movie was the very best game movie that no one ever was. I like that. I like that.
Haiku in review.
What is wrong
That's
with you?
it. So, we don't need to do Ragu Bagu because I would say that Howard Clifford
They would
is-
rank 4th in the PCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
See-
Next, what's up, Kev?
You buy that like the R is on there because the dude's name was Ronald or whatever it was.
Roger.
Roger, that's it. Like that must be a
But it's
team.
not.
Huh?
It wasn't because it was Roger.
Why was it? It was just R,
Yeah,
and that's the name on in the game.
Rage.
They called it like what's the fucking like generic ass term they use in sci-fi movies?
Like the acronym or whatever. it is.
Like product R or
Yeah.
it was something R.
Cool.
I don't think it stood for anything.
I hope we get a Team Rocket. Like there's so much in this universe that they
could be cool.
could go.
The problem with that though is the Team Rocket was disbanded. If
No, I
it's
know,
going in
but
that
like if
universe.
they were experimenting with shit a long time ago and they left their someone stole used their warehouses.
I bet you chat knows the word I'm looking for. Why don't you bring up chat?
I doubt it, dude.
It's one of those sci-fi words, scientific method words.
Unobtainium is the word that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, we are beginning Aladdin in review. What we're going to do is watch Aladdin, the animated movie from 1994, I want to say. And then the following week, we're going to be doing Aladdin live action, the 2019 movie. And we're going to compare those one-on-one, mano-a-mano, Aladdin on Aladdin action. It's going to be hot. It's going to be heavy. Then after that, we're doing Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4 as their own thing. It's going to be fun. Who's excited?
Me.
I'm
Stoked.
excited.
Can't even wait. Right
make
here,
a
raise
man
my
out of
hand.
Until next time, give me
Move
one
on,
more.
baby.
This review is very effective.
Oh!